Hello, how's everything?
Fine, thank you so much.
I'm fine,
Okay.
thank you, teacher. And you?
Fine, fine. Yeah,
Yes?
everything is all right. Yeah. Hello,
Okay.
Jaime. Hello, hello. How is everything? Good? Okay.
Very
Let's see. This is teaching practical, right?
Yes.
So for today, we have we have to analyze something that it is very interesting, just to take into account in order to um, start working with the planning. You started working with the planning, but continue working on the planning and thinking about how to do the planning and what kind of things can we incorporate to the planning. Okay. Let me see here.
Yes, I noticed that in the document PDF NACAC,
Mhm.
something like that. Is another lesson plan? I think so. I don't know.
It is not another one. It is a kind of strategies
Okay.
to organize the lesson plan as well. Because remember that last sessions, the
Yes.
previous one, we analyzed a certain way of organizing things, but there are other things that we can take into account, right?
Okay. So the format is the same,
I
but
don't know,
there
the
are
format is
another.
the same, but the content
Okay.
can change.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello.
I just joined.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Right. So let's see what we have here. Right. Going to share my screen. Also, you have this presentation already in the virtual classroom. So if we cannot share it today, you can see it there. Right? Okay. Can you see?
Yes, teacher.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the idea is to analyze a little bit this. Let's say this is a kind of organization of what the lesson planning is. So it is called GANAG. That it is GANAG. So we are going to see little by little what it is stand for, and we are going to start with the following thing. This is the agenda. We are going just to talk about the GANAG pedagogy, and we are going to analyze a little bit the. Let's see here. Okay. This GANAG thing. So the goal of today is that you will understand and be able to incorporate the teaching scheme of GANAG into your teaching practice, right? For the next lesson planning, you can think if you want to incorporate this aspect or something, or some of the things of the aspect. Okay, not necessarily. You don't need to incorporate everything necessarily. Okay, so to begin, what do you think of when you hear the words lesson plan? What do you think? You hear the words lesson plan.
Objectives.
What do you think?
the
I think of
steps you need to,
objectives
yes, the steps you need to do
and
to
and
create your
usually
Activities.
usually I think three steps. No matter how you call it. Some in some places they call it pre, while, and post, or engage, study, activation, which is a little different, but still they're very similar.
Okay, what else?
Organization of activities.
Okay, organization of activities. Okay, very
Sequence.
good.
For example, presentation, practice and production.
Okay, this is a way of organizing the the activities. Yeah. Okay. The triple P, right? Presentation, practice, and production. right? So what comes to mind, what and what does it mean to you, this lesson planning? So when, okay, I mean, I would like you to ask, how important is for you to plan your lessons? How important is it to?
Absolutely important.
Very important. If you don't have the goal clear, you will not do it as it needs to be.
Okay. Any other?
I
Yes, teacher,
think
I consider that it's important because you can analyze what percent of the knowledge your student acquiring during the class, or if you are teaching in a better way. Okay, so this is important to do in classes.
Okay,
in my
got it.
opinion, well, it helps you have an objective, like what you're going after when you enter the classroom. And also something that is very important for the from the lesson planning is that it helps you prevent certain problems or situations that you may run into. Maybe you start explaining something and you gave just an awful example, and instead of helping your students understand, you confuse them.
Okay. So in a nutshell, we can say that the lesson plan it's a way of organizing and foreseeing what we want to do in the class, right?
For
Yes,
at the
right.
Okay,
moment. Yes, sir.
that's good. Okay, so why GANAG? This is an alternative. It is not mandatory, but it is an alternative that I want to show you. And why? Okay, you ask the question why and how is GANAG different than any other lesson plan format? When each lesson incorporates the GANAG scheme, it ensures every lesson hits each one of the big four. Okay, so what we are going to see here is the
Okay.
GANAG helps you to understand or to organize better what you want to do. I mean, to get your objectives easily, right? This is one
Right.
alternative, and as you were saying a few minutes ago, it is one perspective. It is not the
Teacher,
only one.
when it says the big four, it stands for the skills.
Yep,
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue. So we are going to pass to the next one that it is here. I want because we don't have much time. So we are going to start with the 4 letters. So the letter, sorry, 5 letters. So the first letter for GANAC is this one, the G for goal setting. Okay, so the goal setting, in goal setting, maybe you can ask the following questions to yourself. What will you be teaching? And what is that you want students to know or be able to do, right? So this is more or less like the organization of the ideas when it comes to when a lesson plan starts. You have to have these questions very clear in your mind. What you are going to teach and what your students or what you want your students to know or what you want your students to be able to do, right? So this is the first action, the G of goal. So how to write a goal? There is an alarm,
Yes.
a very strong
Require
alarm.
Don't worry, teacher.
Yes, no, but it is not from my house. That's
So
the issue.
we must mute to find.
Maybe it is better you to mute the microphone. If you want to say something, you open your microphone.
Yes.
Okay?
Will do.
Yes. You see? Very good. Thank you. Okay, so here, the do's and don'ts of the goal. First, goal should be in kid language. It means that when you write something, you need to You need to be sure that your students are going to understand it. If you are working with little kids and your little kids are not proficient in English, or even when you are working with adults and your adults are not proficient in English, it is better, from my point of view, to write the goal in Spanish because they need to understand what you are going to do. Right? It is an advice. When they are low. Yeah, I mean, the level of them are low. If they have a certain proficient, you can use English to establish the goal. But the goal doesn't need to be, I mean, uh, you don't need to use meta language in order to set the goals. You understand what meta language is?
Isn't it when you like rough down your language so students understand what you're saying?
Meta language is the language that you use, the technical language that you use, let's say. Okay? For,
Okay, got
exa-
it.
for example, when you talk about structures like present simple, present perfect, uh,
Like
clauses
the
of
students will
time,
use
those kind
simple
of things,
present to
those kind of things are considered like meta language, right? So
Yeah.
it is difficult for a kid, for example, to understand what present perfect is. If you are saying, okay, my goal is students to use present simple or present simple to explain routines, it is going to be very complicated for them to use or to understand this kind of meta language. It is easier when you explain or when you say that the goal is going that they are going to explain the routines they have or the routines others have. It doesn't matter if you are not explicit in the tense here because you know the tense and they are going to know what tense you are going to work on, but for me it is irrelevant. They are not going to know, right? So it must be very uh, understandable for them. Okay. The second one says don't be too general. So if you want to use something, you have to be very specific. If you are too general, too vague, so your students are not going to focus on what you want to do. When I say general, for example, is students are going to recognize vocabulary related to food, maybe. But food is a general aspect. Food contains a lot of words. There is a lot of vocabulary involved there, right? So you have to be more specific what kind of vocabulary they are going to use or what kind of vocabulary they are going to recognize, right? So the third one is do be specific. So you have to try to be specific. This is not a grammar mistake. It is because it is do's and don'ts. So yeah, but it is do be is very strange. I know.
emphatic.
Yeah, it is emphatic, but you don't do emphatic things with the verb to be usually. It is not common,
Oh,
right?
Mhm.
okay, that's true.
It is very strange to use the auxiliary verb do and be. Okay, but the idea here is that you have to be specific. You have to go to the point. Don't go around the bushes, but go to the point and explain what kind of things you are going to do with them. And the last one is make the goal attainable. So it means that you have to be realistic and you cannot cover as much as, I mean, as you could. I mean, if something is very big, it is better you to reduce it. So it is better you to be conscious of how much you are going to get or attain in the lesson. So you don't need to cover too much. So that's the thing that you have to do with the goal. Even if you are working with kids, you can use other kind of strategies in order to explain this goal. Okay, but it is very important. It's very important for them to understand what they have to do or what you expect from them at the end of the lesson. Kids or adults, doesn't matter. Okay, the next one, here we have strategies for setting. So those are some strategies. These are, let me see. Going to mute this one. Right, great. Okay, so here, sorry. There is a caution. So here, writing your goal on the board and pointing to it, it is not a strategy. That is like trying to nail yellow to a wall. It just doesn't stick. It means it is not enough just writing the goal on the board and pointing to it. If you do that and you don't explain it, you are not going to get anything. You are wasting your time just writing the goal on the board. So we have here 5 strategies to do this, to set the goal, to make the goal understandable. So one of the goals, especially for kids, it's in chorus, have the students read the strategy from the board. So you write the board, but you are going to read it all together. This is one of the strategy. So read it. The other one is have students document in their notebook or their objective score sheet if you are using a portfolio. So you can have your students to write you can have students write on their notebook so they can recall the objectives every single time, right? So you have to do something more than just write, but make them conscious of what they are writing. So next, score it. And this is very interesting because in this one, you can give the students an opportunity to score themselves on what they think they already know. You can use a thumbs up, thumbs down, or show me 1, 2, 3, or 4 fingers. So those are kind of strategies. So how do you know about this topic? So do you know something or you don't know, right? So it is kind of this thing. But also you can score it by the end. Okay, so you can present, you can introduce the goal at the beginning, and at the end you can check the goal and set and start asking them if they got something that the goal says, right? So it is very, very interesting. The next one is to predict it. So you can ask students to conjecture, come up with what they think they will learn. So maybe you can write the objective on the board and you can ask them, what do you think you are going to do? Or what do you think you are going to learn? Right? So this conjecture, this prediction can help them to be prepared and to assess if they were right or wrong. Yeah, so those are strategies. So you can use whatever of those. Or if you want another one, so we have the last one, connected. Ask students how might improving their effort impact their learning, right? So how this can help them to improve or to do something different or to connect this with another topic. So you have the chance of connecting these aspects or the objective that you have set with other kind of things, right? So in this way, they can understand that language is not in a structures that are isolated, but they are connected, right? They can use them connected. Even I could say that this connection could help you to recycle what they have learned before and connected, really connected with the topic they are going to start. Yeah, so it could be a very good starting for your classes. Okay, let's continue. So why is goal so important? First, because it helps students to know, or helps students know, they will be held accountable for the material taught. It holds the teacher accountable to a well-structured lesson, because as you said, the lesson with a very good objective is going to be very well connected. And it is a goal for the teacher to determine how effectively they taught the lesson. So if you can evaluate yourself, right? As you are writing a goal and you are saying, okay, I want my students to do something, you can evaluate at the end if you could get that thing through the activities that you plan. If your goal was too ambitious, or it was, I don't know, too short, because sometimes it can happen that it is too short. Students get it easily, right? Or if it was adequate for the class, for the students, for everything, for the level and for everything. Okay, so it is very important to set the goal and to make them understand that the goals are there. And also because it is a strategy for evaluating them, yeah, for assessing, not only for evaluating, for assessing them. Okay, so the
Teacher,
second, yep.
sorry that I interrupt you. Um, why is it so important that the students understand so deeply the goal? I mean, if I just set in the board, what's the difference? That part is not very clear for me. I thought that the teacher was, as you said, accountable for students achieving that goal. But does it matter? How does it make it different that they understand what the goals mean or aims to?
Okay, I would like to pass this question to the rest of the class. What do you think the answer for that question is?
Will you repeat, please, the question? Sorry.
No, why is it important that students deeply understand the goal? That what is the difference that they just barely see it in the board?
Well, I think it's a matter well, in my case, uh, to like to participate. It's important for them, at the beginning of the class, and they get connected to the topic. Uh, because if I just write the objective on the board, as the teacher said, I'm not doing nothing because, well, yeah, I just write it, I just wrote the objective, and they read it and no more, or I wrote it and no more. But if I connect the objective with the topic, and they understand and they participate with the previous knowledge they have, it's better, or it's easier for them to understand what are they going to reach at the end of the lesson. I think so.
Yeah, and actually the question that Luis Carlos is asking, Rafael, is why is that important that they understand that?
I mean, I thought that the teacher was supposed to take students from the state they are to the goal. I mean, to achieve the goal, even if I don't explain what the goal means or what the goal
I
is.
I think that it has to do with the perspective that you have about teaching. Um,
Okay.
because I could say that there are like three different perspectives about teaching, and one is uh, the teacher-centered class, when everything goes around the teacher. The teacher is the one who knows and the one who has the power of the power of decision, and he is the responsible for transmitting everything. So this is the teacher-centered class. So in the teacher-centered class, students are just the recipients of the knowledge teacher is going to give. This is one of the perspectives. The second perspective is the like the topic center. So everything is going around the topic. So the most important thing in the class is the topic. So the teacher is going to be worried about the topic, and the students are going to be worried about the topic. And the third one could be the student-centered class. So when we do a student-centered class, students are the more active agents in the class, and they are the ones who have to do most of the things. So teacher in this case, or the role of the teacher in this case, is guiding them, helping them to reach the goal, but they need to understand what the goal is, because they are going to be the ones who are going to work for getting the goal. So it depends on the perspective, right? So for me, from my perspective, we have to work with this idea of student-centered. Although our kind of classes, the kind of classes that we have had in English are most of the time teacher-centered, right? So it depends also on you. If you are a teacher-centered, if you are going in pro of teacher-centered class, so objective is just an accessory, right? But if you go in pro of student-centered class, it is going to be very important for them to understand what they need to do. Okay?
Well, I just when I said that I feel responsible for students achieving that goal. It didn't necessarily mean that I mean, I would just be a guide. They would just perform the class. They're active agents, as you said, and we I keep explaining the goal. Usually, I have always done, but after I skip the goal, explain the goal. Usually, I bring an activity that engage them in the topic that I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
That's what I've been told and what I have done.
Okay.
They have never told me about explain the goal. That's what I asked.
Okay. So if you analyze your discourse, you are very focused on you as a teacher, right? Because you always use I. But it doesn't matter. It's a matter of perspective. It is a matter of a strategy. And it has to do with your personality, right?
Okay.
Okay. Right. So let's continue with this one. The second one here, the second letter is A, accessing prior knowledge, because you know that prior knowledge is the connection with the reality as well. And as we are working with this idea, let me see who has the microphone on. I'm checking. Okay. We are working with this perspective of having our students active. We need to involve them in our classes by asking or activating what they previously know. So accessing prior knowledge can take 30 seconds, it says here, or much more, depending upon the activity. So accessing prior knowledge gives students intellectual traction on which to build a better foundation. So remember, students are not empty. They know about the world. They know about something, at least. So with this activation, we are trying to relate their life or the knowledge or what they understand with what we are going to teach. Yeah. So this is very interesting from this perspective. Okay. The importance of this APK, activating prior knowledge, cannot be understated. Without any base, teacher cannot build anything. So those could be the basis for the construction of knowledge. And I'm saying construction because I am thinking about the perspective of the constructionism, right? The constructionism or social constructionism has to do with this vision that Vygotsky has about social interaction, social yes, social interaction basically is the one that let us know about the world and let us get more knowledge, right? With this idea of scaffolding and the zone of proximate knowledge. So it is like the basis of this aspect. So this is from a constructionist perspective, right? Okay. So we need strong foundations. So the knowledge they have could be considered as strong foundations. So here we have 5 identified strategies to do this. So remember, those are suggestions. You can apply them or not. So the first one is to show pictures or objects. So using non-linguistic pictures of objects can generate discussion, can generate ideas, can generate brainstorming, sorry, yes, brainstorming, and those kind of things that we can use previously in the class before starting a class, just to get to know what they think or what they know about something. So with these 2 pictures, for example, we can see that the topic can be related to something agriculture, or could be flowering, or could be growing flowers, or something related to this, right? So you can use pictures in order to activate their prior knowledge, what they know about the subject. So the other one is storytelling or analogy. So tell a story about yourself, reading a book or a newspaper article. These kind of things can help students to get closer to the topic. For example, in the case that you tell a story from yourself, students can understand that you are also involved in the topic, right? You are also part, or you can use language in order to explain what you are, or who you are, right? So this is very interesting. Or reading a book, but a book that is connected to the topic could be also a very good help to start activating that prior knowledge they have, right? So another one is to summarize or review previous lessons. So the summary of review has to be in different ways. It is not necessarily just to use oral reviewing. You can use, for example, this KWL chart. So the K is for what do you know, the W is what do you want to know, and the L is what have you learned, right? So it is kind of things that you can use. The first one, the K, is for the previous knowledge, and the W is for the expectations about the knowledge. After they know the goal, they can write what they would like to know, right? And at the end of the class, you can evaluate the L, what have you learned, right? If you have learned something different. So you can use this. I would say that this could not be useful for little kids, so you can use other kind of strategies for this. So the strategy 4 is question or hypothesis. So ask people, right? Depending on the topic, ask many questions. Just activate them, engage them with the questions. Try to get them to understand that they know what something about the topic. Okay, so it could be easy questions, or it could be questions with pictures, or you can mix the strategies, so on and so forth. Okay. The fifth strategy is partner-based strategies. So this one has to do with collaborative work, or you can say the group work, okay? So you can use small groups in order to start generating ideas about the topic they are going to work on. So in this case, they are more engaged. more engaged with the topic, and they are going to be ready with this. Okay. Okay. So these are the two first letters, and the next one is new information. Let's see this very quickly. When you have the previous knowledge, you can start activating the new information. Okay. You can use even the triple P here in order to present the new information. This is the presentation of the new content, either procedural or declarative knowledge. This is the material identified in your goal and objective. So this is the content that you really need to work on. So new information can be presented in multiple formats, such as the following: video, mini lesson, lecture and note-taking, readings, viewing, experiencing, listening. So you decide what is the way that you are going to explain or to present this new information. So it is important for them, if you know what they know, you are presenting this new information, they can start making a relationship between the two, right? And you can help them in order to do that relation as well. The next one is application. So in other words, we can say this is like the part of production. See, the first one is presentation. This could be production, or the practice as well, practice and production. So in this case, what they know or what they have got in the lesson, they can start working with that. So as you can see in the picture, it is not only to give them the knowledge, but to have them do something with that, right? So students need time to manipulate the content. In this case, you can do some exercises. This is the time for you to do some exercises in order to reinforce their understanding. So they can also start creating things, the new opportunities to allow the new information to become authentic to them, right? So this is like the procedure, the process that you can have, or the procedure you can have with them in order to start getting that information into their life and see that what they have learned is useful. Yeah, because this is one of the things that our purpose as well as teachers, to have them realize that English is useful for their lives. Yeah. Okay, the activity or these activities must be meaningful for the students. They must be applicable to the content, and you can apply a thinking skill. So you can use any of the thinking skills. You can remember Bloom's taxonomy, so you can start working with that. Okay, understanding. I forgot the others. Evaluating, but evaluating is very high. Analyzing, comparing, those kind of things, right? The assignment must be tied back to the goal and objective for the day. So when you design the assignment or the task, because you are talking about task-based here as well, you have to be very careful that this is very connected to the goal. And remember that the goal explains to students what you want they to understand and what you want they to do. Yep. So, okay. You can skip this one. You can check it. So this is a graphic organizer, that it is another alternative in order to relate with the knowledge that they have, they are acquiring in the moment. So you can ask them to organize some ideas, to organize them in different ways. It depends on the task. It depends on the topic you're working on. This is just a suggestion. Remember, if you don't want to use this kind of organizers, it is not necessary. But sometimes it is interesting to see how they organize aspects like vocabulary, or like things they can do or they cannot do, right? So it is very interesting, depending on the topic as well. Yep. Okay. Here, if during the application stage students are asking the same questions, or the level of frustration, the same questions or the level of frustration grows, the teacher need to take a step back and do a bit of reteaching or clarification. It is in the case that they feel frustrating because they don't understand or they don't get the point. So you don't need to advance if you see that. You have to step back, review, reinforce, help them to understand, help them to apply what they have learned, and so on. Okay? Okay, so the next ones, we can continue here with generalization, and that's it. But this generalization, you can analyze it but through the slides that they are not that complicated. So I would like to stop the presentation here because we have 15 minutes, and I'm going to open the session for questions, comments, or doubts about your classes. So if you have any question, any doubt,
Yes, teacher, I have a question. It's
Rafael.
related to the. Yes, it's related to the. My question is related to the feedback of a second class.
Mhm.
I already sent the video, and I don't know if you watched it already.
No,
Because
unfortunately, Rafael, I couldn't do that during the weekend. I promise that I'm going to do
yeah.
it these days because I told you, yes, I
Oh
told
yes.
you, okay, in advance it's going to be better. These are the, yeah, these are the ones who have submitted. So Cesar, Jaime Fernando, Luis Carlos, and Rafael so far, right? The rest, you know that you have the opportunity
Yes.
to upload it later, but I'm going to check those videos today, okay? And I'm going to upload the feedback today that I have the
Oh
chance.
yes, teacher. I would like I would like if you do it because I want to work on the next class in order to be like free later. So free early, yes.
What do you mean with free? You are not free?
Free. Thank you. Yeah, because you said no, because you said that if we record, for example, next week the other,
Yeah.
we can like be on busy, yes,
Yep.
like a week off, something like that. In this,
Let's say that it is a week off. Could say, yeah,
well, thank you,
but you can focus on other things as well, right?
thank you, teacher.
Okay. Any other question?
Yes, teacher, I have a question.
Which one, Tanya?
I don't know what is happening with my my homeworks because I sent you all the homeworks and we have a
Homework
lot
is
of problems.
singular, Tanya. Homework cannot be plural.
I'm sorry, and I'm sending you the homeworks in the time, and I don't know what is happening
What are
because
you talking about?
about the reflection number one, I don't have the grade, and I send you again the PDF.
I think that I
And
had, yes, because I had some problems with your tasks in this class and in the other. You
yeah,
could see, right?
yeah, and now I'm send a last time I sent you the PDF in
Mhm.
the two signatures
Subjects.
subjects. I'm sorry.
Here, the reflection, right?
Yeah, the reflection. Well, and the other one the mind map.
No, my mama have already checked that it is
Okay,
for the next class. And okay, this is submitted for grading. So I have to grade it. I haven't checked
okay,
it. Yeah, because
okay,
as it
teacher.
was behind, I never go back to that.
Okay,
This is this is the problem. When I have when I check something, I check everything in a row and I don't go back.
okay,
So if you don't let me
okay.
know, I don't know anything about your
No,
task.
teacher, but I sent you a message, two message about it.
Okay, maybe I read it, but I was busy, and the problem is that I read the message on my phone, and then forget. But don't worry, if the work is there, I checked it.
Okay,
Okay.
teacher, thank you.
Teacher, I have a question.
Which one, Mami?
Teacher, I have a question. I didn't upload my second video, but I will upload today or tomorrow. And I just want to ask if it's okay if I send it with the reflection.
Sorry, again?
If it's okay to send it with the second reflection or not.
What, the second video?
Yes, the reflection of the second video. I need to send it together or after?
No, after.
Okay,
No,
okay.
no. Do you remember that the reflection must be after the feedback? So I watch the video, I send you the feedback of the video, and you start doing the reflection. That's why Rafael was asking me if I have already watched the video, because he needs my feedback to start doing the reflection and the second lesson plan.
Totally clear, teacher. Thank you.
Okay.
Teacher, I sent to you a message in Zoom group chat.
Yes,
It's
I
from
know.
Carolina. Did you see?
Yep.
Okay.
I saw it.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So do you have any other question about the class?
No.
Teacher, could you give us this presentation?
Which one?
Is possible? This presentation about the GANAG.
No, it is there already.
Okay.
It is there in unit number, let me see here. No, in communication space. In communication space, let me see. It is just here, right?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay. Okay, guys, if there is not any other question, we are going to stop the class here and see you in the next class with the other people I have class. Okay, with the people I have class. Yep.
Okay. Okay, thank you, teacher.
Okay, see you.
See you soon.
See you next time. Next time, everybody has a. By next time, everybody have sent the second video, so everything must be ready for the second lesson plan. Okay. So next time I'm going to give the general feedback of the second video, and we are going to continue working with the other presentation.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Bye,
See
guys.
you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night if I don't see you in a moment.
Okay.
People.
You too.
Okay.